Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncy-Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. Abby, you are exactly the type of person that I love to talk to because you are coming into AI with a rich and very impressive 25-year career in a Fortune 500 company. And what led you to become an entrepreneur? What inspired that transition?
Yeah. So I would say I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. So I started, and the earliest that I can remember is ironing my dad's shirts, right? Like, you don't need to send up the cleaners. I'm going to iron the shirts. So I feel like the entrepreneurial spirit has been here. My mother says it came from my great grandmother, who was a woman ahead of her time. And so the transition for me really happened. I knew it was coming. I knew it was something that I wanted to do, but I went to London and spoke on AI last year. And when I came back from that trip, I was like, this is what I want to be doing. I want to be working with people, helping them, especially female entrepreneurs, because there is a certain freedom that you have being an entrepreneur that you don't necessarily have when you have a corporate type job. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. I came back from London and was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be traveling. I want to be going and seeing women all over the world and helping them be able to implement AI in what they do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what was that transition like for you? How has that corporate experience shaped the approach to coaching, supporting female entrepreneurs?
Yeah. So I was really lucky. In my 25 years, I did basically everything you could do from an operational perspective. I started doing correspondence and answering the phone and went all the way to being an operations director. And in the last 5 years that I was in corporate, I worked in robotics and operations. So I had a team that actually built RPAs and RDAs. And so it gave me that kind of initial step into technology where that hadn't necessarily been my focus. And then all of a sudden, about, I don't know, a year and a half ago, generative AI was the only thing people could talk about. It was like, it's going to revolutionize the world, right? And so AI came into the corporate space and it gave me the opportunity to start beginning to try and understand what it was, how you could use it. And it pretty immediately for me, as I heard people start talking, I went, oh my gosh, this is something that female entrepreneurs can use. And it's going to take away that kind of challenge that you have when you first come into the online space because you have no content. You have zero. And I know for me, that made me feel a little bit, even with all of my years of experience, I felt a little imposter syndrome. I was like, I don't have a lead magnet or a workbook or something to give someone. I don't have a blog filled with great articles. So I could just immediately see that connection and how that really could help people be able to take their expertise that they have from whatever unique gift they've got and be able to translate that into content that they could share with other people.
Mm-hmm. And now that you're knee deep in it, right?
Yeah.
What are some of those most common challenges that you see female entrepreneurs facing?
I'd say there's a couple of things right now, and it depends on where you are in your business. So the entry level entrepreneur, it's more how to use the tech, right? And actually getting over the hump of, do I want to use AI? I'm a little nervous about it. I'm putting information into it, and what does that look like? So I hear that, and just getting past the I'm not techie. I hear that a lot. And you don't have to be techie to use AI. That is the beauty of AI, truly. And then I have folks who are concerned about their IP and giving their special sauce into the AI environment. That has been something that I have had more recently with more experienced female entrepreneurs, those who have built larger businesses and have intellectual property that they are concerned about.
How do you help them with that?
Yeah. It's a tough one. I think at the end of the day, the likelihood that what you're going to put into AI isn't already there is pretty small.
Mm,
AI has literally an ocean of information. If you think about ChatGPT, everything up to 2022 that was on the internet, right? So the likelihood that you have some truly unique, and again, it would be business specific. If you were somebody who was in pharmaceuticals or something, not a female entrepreneur or coach, then I might be a little bit more concerned about the IP.
mm,
I also think that you're going to want to make sure that you have some controls around iteration of your GPTs. So controlling access is another kind of challenge because when you put a GPT out there, then somebody has access to it. You
mm.
can't really take the access away. So setting up iteration protocols so that every quarter or every month you create a new GPT so that those that shouldn't have access don't have access anymore. It just takes some planning and some processes in your business to keep the controls in place.
And how do you emphasize helping your clients really achieve that purpose, authenticity, and you emphasize that addition of freedom and joy? How do you help them use AI and maintain all of that?
Yeah. So when I think about freedom, I think about the ability to set your own course,
Mhm.
right? The ability for you to be truly aligned with the work that you're doing. And ultimately, if that's the case, joy is what you have in your life. The way that I leverage AI in that space is that one of the really foundational things that we need to understand in order to feel that joy in what we do is really understanding why we do what we do. So the first step when I work with clients is really about purpose. And I have a course called the Purpose Project. And it's really about that vision, mission, values. Why are you doing what you do? Ultimately, at the end of the day, the understanding of that and what values are really important to you, we then turn around and use in something I call an AI persona, which is really your values, your brand. How do you get the authenticity and voice into the AIs that you're using and create?
Mhm. And I love that you bring that up because it makes you a partner instead. Because when I was starting out on my journey, a lot of us, I think, are solopreneurs, right?
Yes.
I'm flying this plane solo while I'm building it.
Yes.
So all the things are going on, and I can't handle one more thing. In fact,
Yeah.
when I was working with a coach and she was telling me, "Have you seen ChatGPT yet?" And this was back at the end of 2022. Played with it? Are you into this? And I was, oh God, don't even tell me about one more thing. I need to see if this is a trend or if it's going to stick. Because if it's going to stick, then maybe I'll start. Holy, guess what? And I think that a lot of people initially might have that kind of, maybe I'd even call it misinformation. It's God, this is one more thing. I can't. One more thing. I can't. Not
Yeah.
quite understanding how intuitive it can be, how conversational, and you can do exactly what you just pointed out about partnering with it to develop voice in
Yeah.
such a conversational way. How do you help when you're coaching women? If you had
Yeah.
somebody like me coming in with, I can't, one more thing, I can't, how would you help them get over that?
Yeah. I have found that with AI, it's very much showing people the ease. I found when we first started getting into AI and I first started talking about it online, I was like, it's game changing. It's mind blowing. And it was almost like that glazed deer in the headlights look. And so I have found that really taking my client into ChatGPT and going, look, this is how simple it is, right? Yeah, I know it feels scary because it's techie and because everybody's talking about AI taking over the world and how we're going to have robots and we do have robots literally driving cars, right? We have cars that don't have people in them. So I get it. I get why people are a little hesitant about it, but it really is game changing to your business. And I've taken a lot of hands in taking people into ChatGPT. And I do a lot of initial kind of beginner training in Facebook groups and posted it on YouTube, trying to just show people step by step how you go into an AI tool, how you prompt an AI tool, how you work on getting it the voice that you really want. Because that was initially some of the feedback I got was, it doesn't sound like me, Abby. I don't want to use it. It doesn't sound like me. I have to tweak it so much. It's not worth it to me. And so we had to work on it together.
And do you have a collection of favorites that you find to be the most practical for entrepreneurs?
I am a huge fan of ChatGPT, and that's mainly because of the My GPT function. I built for myself a whole kind of suite of GPTs. And I realized probably 6 months ago that why would I just keep that to myself? I've created it for me for email sequences, I have an Etsy store, right? Because I've had a product business for about 14 years. And listings or something you have to spend a huge amount of time on, titles, descriptions. And I'm like, okay, I have this huge vault of GPTs. Other people should be able to use them. And so I created a hub where folks can actually use the GPTs that I created. So
Okay.
ChatGPT is my go-to. I also like, and recently it's one of those when you have these big systems, you're like, they're never going to go out. They're never going to have an outage. They do. And ChatGPT has.
Yeah.
And a week or two ago, I was in the middle of working on something and really needed access to AI and to create something in content. So Claude is my kind of next level backup if ChatGPT is not working from a content perspective. Now, I have been digging into video on AI and a bunch of different apps around reels. And so I have some favorites popping up in that arena as well. So CapCut has done a lot of updates and I'm really liking what they've got. You've got Mew is another one that I like. And then I recently found I'm not somebody who does a lot of photo editing, right? So if I take a picture of myself, I try to do it in a good light so that I don't have to go in and do a bunch of stuff, right? I like to look like myself too. I think that's important. But there is a new app called Retake, and it does a nice job of making you look a little brighter, but you still look like yourself. And for somebody like me who doesn't wear a lot of makeup and those types of things, I still look like myself. So that's another one that I have found recently that I would check.
I love it. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a collection of maybe even just your top three, like AI powered tips that help entrepreneurs save that time, that money that's so vital as they're starting out? It's not that we don't all benefit from saving time and money, and we're women, but
Yes.
what are the top three? Help me narrow down because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm drinking out of a fire hose sometimes, right?
And I see in 2025 that only getting worse, right? There's only more and more coming out.
So
So
you better give me some advice.
yes. So my first tip is pay for ChatGPT. If you have not invested the $20 a month, invest the $20 a month. It is well worth it, the difference in quality of what you get from a content perspective if you use the paid version of ChatGPT. So that is my first tip that I give to everyone. Well worth the investment. The next tip I would have is, as an entrepreneur, you need headshots and you need good headshots. So best in one of the great AI apps that has come up, I like Gio. It's my favorite one. I also like Photoroom, but you need headshots. You need them for your LinkedIn profile. You need them for your Facebook. You need them for everything. And they can be really expensive to have done. And you have to figure out somebody to do it. And you got to go someplace. And there are just these great apps that, again, you can use to create that headshot that you need, even as somebody who's starting as an entrepreneur. That's two. And then three, from an AI perspective, I would say make sure that you are using prompts, right? And that you start to get an understanding of what a prompt is. Because when you're using AI, prompts are how you get what you want. And it's one of those in, prep out. If you don't put in something good, you're not going to get something good out. And so understanding very basic prompting for the AI, also really critical if you're going to use it and it be productive and helpful for you in your business.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I love the idea of really embracing the fact that your interactions with ChatGPT are iterations. You're
Yes.
iterating. And the more you see a product that you don't like, I think the more it teaches you about how to refine what you're asking for.
Yes,
So I love that.
absolutely.
Now, you're helping women grow their visibility and reach on LinkedIn specifically. And what are some key strategies that you recommend for creating maybe more impactful posts or posts with better reach?
Yeah. And I'd say a couple of things. My first tip related to LinkedIn would be about your banner and your about section. Because at the end of the day, when you transition from thinking of LinkedIn as a corporate person, which I did for a really long time, to thinking of LinkedIn as something for an entrepreneur, your banner and your about section become your sales page, right? They become that same thing that you're using your Facebook group banner for, or whatever that social media platform is you're working on. So make sure that you have that in mind when you are building your LinkedIn profile. From a post perspective, I would say current trends are a really great thing to be sharing. And I'll give you an example. If you are in healthcare and you are somebody who is an entrepreneur, let's say working in the AI space, working on products that help healthcare, make sure that you're posting about what's trending in that industry. That's really often what people are looking for in LinkedIn as a professional space, as opposed to maybe Facebook, which is more of a entertainment space. So I find that when you have a particular niche and when you have a particular industry, you really should be speaking to that specifically in the posts that you're doing.
hmm And do you find an AI tool that can help spot those trends exists? Do you think that ChatGPT fits that bill, or is there something else we should be knowing about?
Is a really great question. And I have a tool that I built for Facebook groups called Custom Assistant Expert. And it actually has been trained like an assistant would be on viral posts. And I have that many of the clients that I have use. I'm actually building one for LinkedIn. Same kind of thing, training it on trends, posts that are successful, what's getting engagement, what's getting more impressions. So I think keep your eyes out, everyone, for tools, because there are going to be a few developed in the space that will help you from a post perspective. Chat GPT on its own, yes, absolutely. Tell it you're using LinkedIn. Tell it your AI persona information. So, what's your title? What are your values? Who is your ideal client? And what are their pain points? Right? Those are the main kind of top 4 things that you need to include when you're prompting. And so you can use those and tell it you're specifically looking to post in ChatGPT, post in LinkedIn.
Okay. All right. And you've received some pretty glowing testimonials from your clients. It's absolutely beautiful. Can you share a particular success story that where a client achieved some of this growth that we've been talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really lucky that I get the opportunity to work with really incredible people. And I think that's one of the things about being an entrepreneur is you get to choose who you work with. And that's not true when you work for somebody else. So I have the most amazing dream clients that you can imagine. So narrowing it down is difficult, but I have one who really we started and there was no business. And at this point, she has created a business. She is actually a personal financial coach that helps somebody specifically who's going through transplants. She is a heart transplant recipient and she is also a social worker. And we have worked to build her a business where she's gotten several national contracts to work with organizations that do transplants. In addition, we went through the process of her writing a book called My 12 Hours Aren't Up Yet. So I love working with my clients on all different kinds of projects, and we leverage AI in all different ways for those projects.
Oh, that is so amazing. I love that. So we're taking AI from the ground floor startup and we're helping someone move forward to establish a business.
Yeah.
What role do you think AI can play in advancing women into leadership in entrepreneurial areas, I should say?
Yeah. I think for me, there's a couple of things, and I'm going to say something a little controversial from an AI perspective. I'm not a fan of having Chat GPT take action.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So you can create code that allows you to have, let's say, Chat GPT post for you on your LinkedIn.
Okay, so you're talking
Right?
about like agentic.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, I am a little at this point still hesitant on not having the human intervention
Mhm,
before something goes out from an AI perspective.
mhm,
For me, right now, AI and the way I would want female entrepreneurs to leverage it is really from the idea, the ideation, the refinement, the content, copy, course creation, things that are really language and communication driven. I think that's the place where AI has its strength right now. There are definitely some places where it doesn't. And so, not having, from my perspective, as somebody who's been in the technical space, enough oversight into what's happening in those actions that are being taken, I would say hold off for now on some of that. I
mhm.
use it for the other because it's really good at it. And again, incredibly game changing. Again, as solopreneurs, you can have your own assistant today. Go sign up for Chat GPT and you can have somebody who you can bounce ideas off of. You can do all kinds of things with an AI assistant that I think are really smart decisions right now.
Mhm. We just don't want to leave it alone, right? We wanna
Correct.
be a human in the loop in an ongoing fashion.
Agreed. At this
So I
point, I think that's the place that I would want to stop from a risk perspective.
so treating it like an intern, right? We're training the intern on the business, but we're not letting the intern run the business.
Correct. It's like an employee, right? If you
Mhm.
have an assistant, a personal assistant, right? You might say, "Hey, I need you to draft me a letter to Dr. Smith about this collaboration that I want to do." You're going to look at the letter. Please tell me you're going to look at the letter. You're going to look at the letter before you sign it and send it out. So it still needs that kind of cursory review.
I love it. Yes. Yes, definitely. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, what's next for you and your journey? You're helping women use AI to transform businesses, careers. What's next for you and your business?
Oh, more travel, more speaking. I actually just got an offer today to go speak on AI for a retreat in Tulum, Mexico. Uh,
Ooh.
yes, very excited about that. So more of that. I really love to travel. I told someone a couple of years ago that I wanted to make a global impact, and I really mean it. So that's going to mean not only doing these types of interviews and the kind of work online, I want to actually be on site in person, being able to help people really understand AI at a different level and help support them in using it. So that's definitely one of the things that I have on the list. I have signed on to be part of a book called Authenticity and Action. And it's being put together by the Women Changing the World organization. And so I'm super excited about that. The book's actually going to be released in London. And so I will be in London in April for the release of the book and to speak at the summit. So again, excited about the opportunities to be out there really talking to people about AI and helping women realize that they don't have to be techie to use it.
I love it. Congratulations. This
Thank
sounds
you.
absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much.
So, if people want to connect with you to either learn from you from your online presence or if they want to coach with you, where would they go?
www.leadwithpositivity.com is my website. That has a contact button. It has information about me, the services that I provide. You can get me on LinkedIn, Abbey Dyer-Amonette. I am definitely on LinkedIn. I also have a really great Facebook group called Female Entrepreneurs Easily Create Content, Copy, and Courses. So if that is something that interests you, absolutely give it a search in Facebook. And I share a lot of tips about AI, training on AI. That's really the place where I am uh, available a lot in order to help folks, again, holding a hand and giving support so that they can feel comfortable with it.
I love it. All right. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely priceless. I know that we're going to really benefit from taking these words to heart. So, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.